Hey everyone, welcome back to Forward Farming. This week, you're stuck with Becca again. Sorry in advance. I've got my coffee. I've got about an hour. I doubt I'll talk to myself for that long, but I've got some free time, so I wanted to sit and chit chat for a little bit. Amber is taking the week off. Please continue, if you're the praying type, to just keep her and her family in your prayers. And I don't really have a topic, so I was basically just going to steal Amber's topic. Last week she talked about just like how she got to where she is. So I thought I would do the same thing because my background is obviously a lot different than a lot of farmers. And I don't really talk about it all too much anymore just because my story has changed so much. Like it seems like it was so long ago. So that's what I want to talk about today. And yeah, just gonna fly by the seat of our pants like we always do. So I guess to get started, I'll do some highs and lows and a goal, and then we'll get into my life story. Okay, so my low for the week, I just went over all these in my head before I started recording, so I wouldn't sound like this. I think my low though is just the fact that I have not been able to, I don't want to say find time. It's me not making time for myself necessarily. It was kind of funny a few weeks ago, like the day before our daycare shut down, I was talking to one of my coworkers and I was just telling her how I was kind of not necessarily burnt out, but like it's a lot to be a working mom and to be a mom and like feel like you're doing a good job working and being a mom, yada yada. If I mean, so I had literally we had a conversation about it. I just it was something that I just kind of needed to get off my chest. And so she's like, you need to make time to like do things for you. I said, I know, like I want to, I know I need to like pick a day where I just do kind of the bare minimum at work. Like I just feed calves and then I leave. And then I need to go do something. Like it can be as simple as we were talking about like getting our nails done, because when I was getting my nails done this summer, like spring, summer, before Jack was born, that was my me time. And it's silly to say, but I just like felt a little bit more put together with my nails done. I don't know why. I don't wear makeup. I don't like ever dress up. I don't do any of that stuff, but having my nails done just felt right. Um so we talked and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pick a day. I don't know a day yet, but I'm gonna pick a day where nothing else is going on. I can just feed the calves and I'll go get my nails done. Well, joke was on me because the very next day, daycare shut down for COVID. And it shut down for 2 weeks, and I got the text message, and then I don't know, on our little app thing. And then I remember telling her, I was like, how ironic that I like just said I needed to make time for myself, and I had, a plan in motion, and then that happened. But that 2 weeks, it was great. It was really nice. Sophie was in school still. It was just nice to like spend time with Jack and Joe by themselves. Just, I don't know, we don't ever really get that time together, especially like when Jack was sleeping. It was just Joe and I, so it was nice. But obviously I would go to work and then I would get done before Joey had to go to work. So it was go for a couple weeks. And we survived. Kids are all back. Everyone stayed healthy. And yeah, we're trying to do that. But anyways, back to my low. I've just been putting myself on the back burner. And I think the worst part is that I know that I'm doing it, but I'm not necessarily doing anything to fix it. So that's my low. And I guess I might as well just go into a goal. That's my goal, is to kind of try and find some time for myself again. This week, yesterday, I was planning on leaving work early so that I could I need diapers and stuff. I was literally just going to go to Target and then go to Starbucks before I went and got the kids, because normally I don't like going into the stores with the kids. it's a lot with 3 kids. And then Sophia and Joe are both at the age where they're like, I want this, I want this. And it's like, no, you're not getting anything. But so we normally do like pickup and stuff. So I was like, I'll leave work. I'll just have, walk around for a little bit. But we had a meeting and it ended up taking a lot longer than I thought. So then I didn't end up having time to go. And then today I was like, okay, I'm going to leave. I have a chiropractic appointment at 11:45. I'm going to leave after that and go to Dubuque. Well, I did that, but by the time I like got lunch and stuff like that, it was like 1:00. So I was like, I'm not going to rush to Dubuque, but I decided I was going to come home. I was going to put laundry away. But this sounded a little bit better, and this is it's me time because I'm venting to you guys right now. So we're working on that goal of taking some time for me. My other goal is, and if you're watching on YouTube, here's a picture of it, but I talked a few weeks ago about the High Five Habit by Mel Robbins. And I wish I could say I was done reading it, but do you think I have made much progress on it? No, I have not. I'm just a couple chapters in yet. I have not really taken the time to sit down and read it. I was reading it after I would put Jack to bed. I would just take like 10-15 minutes before I went to bed to read it. But this time change, man, is kicking my butt. And so normally I put him down and then I hang out with the kids and stuff and talk to Joey when he gets home from work. But then I'm just like, I'm zonked. I'm ready for bed at like 7. So I'm hoping to, I don't know, maybe I'm hoping to just find time to read it. I really want to. I know that it's a great book. I've been hearing a lot of other people that have finished it say how great it is. So that's my other goal, is to kind of work through that book. And hopefully, I don't know, at least get a couple chapters in this week. My high for the week, gosh, I don't know. It hasn't been a terrible week. We got to go hunting last weekend, which was not everything I had hoped and dreamed for. If you follow me on Instagram, I talked a little bit about it, but let's see, we dropped the kids off at Joey's mom's house on Friday night because I had to work Saturday morning and Joey was already at the woods. And so it was 2 nights without the kids. And they did great. Jack did amazing, but if I pump too many times in a row, I tend to get clogged ducts. And I got one Saturday afternoon. I tried to get it out, but we were at the cabin, so we didn't have hot water. I like had a hand warmer in there to try and help it, but I couldn't get it out. I almost drove home Saturday night because it hurt so bad, and I was like, I honestly, I don't know if I would have even been able to pull my bow back. That's how bad it hurt. So yeah, I was pretty late by that night, and Jack was already sleeping, so I'm like, well, we're not gonna do anything. So I stayed, and on Sunday morning I hunted for about 2 hours. I had to get down. And then I ended up coming home. I grabbed the kids and came home early. So it was nice to get away for a little bit. I had a little bit of quiet time in my stand, which is always nice. But it was just a bummer that I didn't feel great doing it. But got rid of the clogged duct like right after I nursed him, which was nice. And then kind of the rest of the day I was just sore, but feeling better from that. And hopefully that doesn't happen for a long time, because if you've ever had one before, they are painful. I would not wish that on anyone. So yeah, that was my week. It snowed today. It was more like pelting snow. Every time like snow would come in, it was with a lot of wind, and so it would just kind of smack you in the face. It's not very cold out though, so that's nice, and none of the snow has stuck, so we've got that going for us. I think on Sunday we're supposed to have 1 to 3 inches. I don't know if it's supposed to stick around because it's going to be kind of cold next week. There's a couple warm days though too, so I don't know. I shouldn't complain because we've had quite a nice fall in Wisconsin. So it's almost the middle of November. It's time for winter, I guess. But I tell you what, if we get snow on Sunday, I might have to find the Christmas tree. Are you one of those people? I typically wait until next weekend, like when Joey's gone hunting. I typically wait until then to set it up. But we'll see. With the kids, it's magical, you know? All right. That's enough of me rambling. Let's get into my life story. I was born on a hot summer day. Just kidding. I was probably born on a hot summer day. It was August. But I did not grow up on a farm. I don't have any family that farms. So we can start with that. My mom is a teacher, and my dad growing up, I don't know what his official title was. Sorry, Dad. Like, I want to say like safety coordinator of some sorts at a factory or a printing company. So yeah, like no farming background. We didn't know anyone that farmed. And my brother and I had joined 4-H because my cousins were in 4-H. And one of the meetings, a farmer came to the meeting and was like, hey, you know, if anyone wants to show cows, like come on out to the farm. And I honestly, I don't know what made us be like, oh yeah, let's do that. But we went. And my first year, I showed I think it was a spring yearling. Now, mind you, I was 8 or 9 years old, and a spring yearling was way too big for me. Anyways, her name was Kathy. She was a Holstein. She was the worst. I think obviously a big part of it was I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, none of us did. And I don't remember a whole lot from that year, but I do remember like right before we went to show at County Fair, right before we walked into the ring, she stepped on my foot. And I am pretty sure I cried the entire time I showed her. So yeah, that was Kathy. That was my first year. For whatever reason, I decided, hey, let's do this again. And the next year, I showed a spring calf, and it was a brown Swiss. And I think that's kind of when I kind of fell in love with not only cows, but brown Swiss at the same time. So a lot of people are always like, why brown Swiss? And honestly, that's just it. The farm that we showed with, they had some Holsteins, not many. They don't have any anymore, I don't believe. And then they had brown Swiss and they have Guernseys. So over the years, I showed a handful of Guernseys, but I was pretty much always with the brown Swiss. I absolutely love them. I love their temperament. I love their stubbornness. They're so cute. Their little fuzzy ears, and they're easy to fall in love with. So, yeah, my start in agriculture started with showing cows. Over the years, I kind of just got more and more involved helping out on the farm. And then through 4-H, they had dairy judging. We did that, dairy bowl. I was very involved in 4-H growing up. I think it's a great organization. If you've got kids, get them involved with 4-H because you can do not only agriculture, you can do just about everything. I mean, I did photography, ceramics, I don't know, arts and crafts, archery. The possibilities are endless. I showed my cat one year. She got an award of merit. It was a pretty special time in my life. But 4-H is a great organization. So if you're looking for something for your kids to get involved in, because, you know, we all have time for all this stuff, I think 4-H is definitely one of the top things that I would do. I'm excited for Sophia and Joe and Jack to be able to be old enough to be in 4-H, and hopefully they love it as much as I do. But back to that, kind of just got more involved. We started showing at other shows besides like County Fair. We did a Canton show, and then we'd go to State Fair. And then we went to a couple national shows just with the Brown Swiss Juniors. Showed at Expo a couple times with that farm. Like it was just a great experience overall. It was a ton of fun to show the cows and to kind of get them ready all year long. And the group of people that I showed with are just, you know, they were all just lifelong friends, good people, fun to be around. We always had a blast. So that was where my love of agriculture kind of began. I was also involved in FFA 1 year. My high school did not have an FFA. Um, I went to Arrowhead High School. If you're in Wisconsin and know where that is, it's in Heartland. Their number one priority was sports. That's really all they cared about. Probably all they still care about. But so we didn't have an FFA. I, along with a couple other people, wanted to get one started at our school. And we pretty much got shot down because they were like, well, no one's going to want to be an advisor for that. Then you need an advisor to have an FFA. So that was kind of a bummer. But it's a pretty urban area. So I guess it wasn't that big of a shocker. But my friend and I ended up joining FFA at another school. I was a senior already, so I only got to be in it 1 year. But it was really fun just to meet other people. We just pretty much went to their meetings and then did dairy judging with them. So that was fun, the year that it happened. And then when it came time for college, I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to be involved in the dairy industry, or like agriculture at least. So I ended up attending UW-Platteville. I I did apply to River Falls and Madison, and River Falls it was too far away for me. I think it was, I don't know, like 3.5, 4 hour drive, whereas Platteville's 2 hours away. Madison would have been 1 hour away. I didn't get into Madison, definitely not smart enough. And looking back, I'm glad, because I absolutely loved my time at Platteville. I don't think I would have done well in a big city setting. So I am very glad that all worked out. But yeah, I came to Platteville and majored in animal science with a dairy emphasis. And when I was in Platteville, I started feeding calves on a local dairy there. And I did that for a few months, and differences of opinion. I didn't stay too long there. But then right after I left, I started working at Weigel Dairy, where I still am today, actually. So that was the spring of my sophomore year that I started working there, just milking part-time. We, I think we milked 3 times a day when I first started. There was a short period of time we went back to 2 times a day before we switched back to 3 times a day. I don't really remember. But I milked there part-time. Absolutely loved it. I've had some fun coworkers over the years. And when it came time for graduation, so I guess back a little bit. So sophomore year, I started working at the dairy. Junior, right before senior year is when I met Joey. I'm trying to think here. I think it might have been the end of junior year. It was during spring break of junior year, I think. We both were in a AI technician class, learning how to breed cows, because who doesn't want to do that on their spring break? But the girl that I knew him, so we were kind of all together for that spring break class, and that's when we met. And he had a girlfriend at the time, so we didn't, yeah, whatever. We just had met. That was about it. And then fast forward to that summer, we reunited at the bars. This is like every typical college love story, I think. You meet back at the bars. But I think we've talked about this before. I walked into Boondocks and he was playing Buck Hunter obsessively loud with his friend, and the rest is history. So anyways, we had been dating for pretty much almost a year before I graduated. And I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life at that point. As senior year rolled around, I don't know. I loved working on the farm and I loved being around cows, but at the same time, if you don't have a farm to kind of go back to, just start out as a dairy farmer on your own, like first generation, and be able to get a loan for that, or like have any sort of, I don't know, to afford that and stuff. I know it's possible. I'm sure I could have figured something out, but that really seemed out of reach at the time. And my boss was like, I'd love to get the calves back on the farm because at the time they were being raised on another farm. And he's like, I know you like calves. Like, what do you say you become the calf manager and we'll get all the calves back here and you can raise them. And I was like, okay. I mean, I wasn't ready to leave the area because Joey lived, no, we live like 20 minutes away from Plapo, but I wasn't ready to leave the area with that, obviously. And I really didn't know what else I wanted to do. So I said yes. So that was really fun to kind of come up with the calf program. I worked really close with our vet and Tom, of course, to get going. But a lot of it was trial and error and going to seminars and classes and researching online and things like that. I mean, I had some calf feeding experience, but not a lot. I mean, I hadn't done it like exclusively for a while. So I started that, and let's see, I think probably 4 years later, maybe 3 or 4 years later, I had the opportunity to buy some cows and keep them on the dairy. And that was really cool for me to be able to do that, because that was kind of always the end goal, was to have cows. And it was one of those things that I knew that I probably just wasn't going to be able to do it on my own. And it's kind of a hard reality. Even now, like it would be a dream if I could bring my cows home. And my boss knows that if I had a way to milk them at my house, I probably would be. But the dairy industry is hard, with milk prices being so fluctuating, and your cost of production is barely what you get a milk check for. Sometimes it's more than you get your milk check for. It's hard, and I'm not sure it would work. I don't want to lose everything that I've worked so hard for, if that makes any sense. So anyways, I bought my first 4 brown Swiss cows. And I technically had one cow before that. Her name was Ellie Mae. She had come from a herd that we had bought, and shortly before we bought the herd, she was a heifer at the time. She got her foot caught in barbed wire in the fence. So her foot was mangled pretty bad. And then she calved. And so we brought her home, and I had made like a little pen for her. And I put a couple calves in it with her so that she could kind of still be milking, and took care of her and stuff. And my boss was like, yeah, she's yours. You earned that. I fed and watered her every day, and slowly we got her foot healed and stuff. And she turned out to be a great cow. We had to put her down a few years ago, but she was I don't know how old she was. She was a pretty old cow. She definitely paid her worth. So that was technically my first cow. And then I got my first 4 cows. And that was a learning experience. They were all pregnant when I bought them. The first 3 calves were bull calves. So that sucked. I'm not gonna lie, that sucked. Now, since I raise bull calves, I don't care when I get them. But when you're first starting out and you're just hoping for a heifer calf, that hurts a little bit. But the very last one that calved, her name was Delia, and she had a little girl, and I named her Delilah. I think that's how that went. I could be totally wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what their names were. Anyways, so that was exciting. And then kind of over the years, I would buy some at sales. Our UW Platteville puts on a sale once a year. It was every fall. They changed it to the spring last year. So I bought some from them, and then kind of just slowly grown my herd with heifers and stuff. I've got mostly all brown Swiss right now, and then a few Holsteins yet. And I have 1 milking shorthorn, technically 2. I own them with my boss. He always wanted a roan shorthorn, and so we bought one a few years back. And she said she had 1 heifer for us, and then she had a stroke. It was the weirdest thing. I mean, it was never diagnosed a stroke, but we are all 99% sure that's what it was. So yeah, we haven't had good luck with our shorthorns, but this is really me rambling and I apologize. All right, let's fast forward. So just kind of been building my herd over the years. And then still involved with like showing, not quite as much anymore. It's hard with the kids and like getting to shows and stuff. This year, obviously, I did not do anything because I knew I'd be having a child in July. And I was like, State Fair, which I normally go to because it's close to home, is the beginning of August. So I knew that wasn't going to happen, but I'm hoping next year that I can show a couple heifers. I'm really hoping I can get a March calf for Sophia to show, because she is old enough to do like kitty showmanship at one of the local county fairs next year. So I'm excited for that. I hope that the kids love showing and love brown Swiss as much as I do. If they don't, that's okay. Joe will probably be in a tractor somewhere. He won't have time for my cows, but that's kind of, I don't know, my life story. Joey and I moved out to his grandma's farm in 2015, I want to say, somewhere around there. And we didn't have any animals to begin with. We had chickens. We had chickens. I think that was about it. And then now over the years, just to get a little bit of cash flow going, we started raising bottle calves, Holsteins mostly, and then we sell them either to the neighbor, take them to the sale barn. And then now we do hogs once a year. We usually get them in the spring and then butcher them in the fall. And then we obviously do the brown Swiss beef for farmers markets and things like that. So it's been really fun just to dabble in all sorts of agriculture. Joey's a good sport about me bringing random things home and also me bidding on random animals. He he asked if I was taking his truck to work today. I was like, why? And he's like, well, don't you have to bring the trailer home to go get that calf you're gonna buy? Anyways, I am still top bidder on her, so we'll see if I get her. I think the sale ends in like 5 hours. I'll have to update you guys next week. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I've been rambling for a long time, so I think we're gonna wrap it up here. It is interesting looking back, just from high school to now. I mean, it blows my mind. I don't give myself enough credit sometimes, I don't think, but it blows my mind what I was able to do. I know growing up, it didn't happen to me often, but some people don't think that you are worthy to be in agriculture if you did not grow up on a farm, which really bugs me, because it's like, I think of that as like if you were a doctor and it's like, oh, you shouldn't be a doctor, your parents weren't doctors. Like, it's not the same, but it's kind of the same. So I don't love that. I think anyone that wants to be involved in agriculture, I think they should go for it. There's so much you can do in agriculture and so much to learn and so many life lessons and stuff. So I really encourage people, if they're interested in it, to, you don't have to necessarily get a job at a farm, but find a mentor, find someone that you can, visit farms, and see what it's about. Join 4-H. You can learn a ton in that, or FFA. I know one, I'll never forget this. One year at Dairy Bowl. In Dairy Bowl, if you don't know, it's they pretty much quiz you on like dairy facts, essentially. Facts about cows and like nutrition and stuff like that. And I don't even know what competition it was, but we were just like matched with random people. And one of the boys that was on my team pretty much told me to like not answer any questions because I didn't come from a farm, so I didn't know anything. Boy howdy, did that not make me happy. That's one of those things that you don't forget about. I still remember that kid. He's very prominent in the dairy industry, and I've never liked him. all because he said that to me. And one year at FFA, this is me being really snotty right now, but one year at FFA judging, I think it was FFA. Every dare judging. I don't remember. Some judging competition, and I beat him. Boy, did that feel good. Okay, I'm done being snotty. But moral of the story is, just because you didn't grow up on a farm does not mean that you cannot have a passion for the industry and learn and grow and become someone successful in the dairy industry. So I will get off my soapbox now. I'm going to finish drinking my coffee. And, I've got about 15 minutes before I have to get the kids. So I think I'm going to sit down and read the High Five Habit while I drink my coffee and while it's snowing again outside. Anyways, if you are not following our Facebook and Instagram page, make sure to do so. We are at the Forward Farming Podcast. You can follow Amber at Cranberry Chats and myself at Farming with the Hilbys. And if you haven't yet and want to leave us a review, that would be awesome. You can do it on Apple Podcasts or our Facebook page. You can leave reviews. If you're not on either of those and you're just on Instagram, you can always leave us a message review, if you want to call it that. And also, we're on YouTube now. We've been on there for a while, but we don't always upload the podcast. But Amber's been doing really good at that. Really good job of that. So if you prefer to watch us, there's really nothing to see here. I'm looking like a hot mess, but if you prefer that, you can head over to YouTube and check it out. It's Forward Farming Podcast. And also, Amber started a YouTube for Cranberry Chat, so make sure you go follow her. She's been doing some recipes, and I know she got some really cool videos from Harvest, so I'm excited to see those. So make sure you're following us on all the things. We really appreciate you guys listening every week. We know that things have been kind of weird since we both had our babies this summer. It's been hard to match up our schedules and things like that, but we're really happy that you're here. We hope that we can kind of, I don't know, maybe find normalcy or at least find time to record an episode together soon. And I hope you guys all have a great week. So thank you for listening and goodbye.